Hey, how you doing? It is Wednesday. It is the 27th of December, and a happy belated Boxing Day to our friends to the South, Canada. Hope everything went well for you. We got some news today. First off, from the I'm not dead yet file, we've got this popping up. Ozzy Osbourne has slammed an internet video claiming he was dead. The Black Sabbath frontman and heavy metal icon says he was taken aback by a recent YouTube video supposedly announcing the names of celebrities who had died. And it had a picture of Ozzy. Guys, the clickbait is brutal. Yeah, just ignore that stuff. Ozzy says, quote, "This thing on YouTube, it's got celebrities who have died today, and there's a picture of me." And I go, "I'm not dead. I'm not really dead. Just a little flesh wound," to quote him. He says, "It's a bit effing much, isn't it? I'm not going any effing where. And I'm going to go up and do some more gigs before I'm finished anyway." So, Ozzy is not dead. Speaking of metal, in a new interview with Robert Cavuto of Metal Rules, Saxon frontman and the best name in rock and roll, Biff Byford, was asked if he was surprised to see the band's original guitarist, Paul Quinn, out on tour again. So Paul Quinn, Saxon has some classic riffs. I mean, Saxon, and I've seen them like 4 or 5 times live, never on purpose. And I don't mean that as a slam. I just mean they're one of these hardworking bands that they've never been really at the headliner status, at least not in the States. But you see them open for all the time for different bands, and they're great. They're a great band. They've got some great albums. Well, their original guitarist, Paul Quinn, he said he just didn't want to tour anymore, so he left the band. And then he up and joins another tour with a classic rock power trio called The Cards. So he's now out on a tour with Japan. So they asked Biff if he was surprised about that, and he said, quote, "It's a little bit surprising. When I do talk to him, and I was talking to him yesterday, well, he's doing his thing. He said he didn't want to tour anymore, and then he went off to Japan with the band, which is a little crazy. But Paul is a little crazy. He's a bit on the nicer side of nuts, if you know what I mean. But that's what makes him great, really. But we have to stand by his decision." So, again, he had not wanted to tour, and then he's out touring. Probably this is a much shorter tour than he would be doing with Saxon. So good luck. Thank you, Will Hines, for tuning in. Will, of course, welcome to join the program at any time, just not allowed to talk about anything because he has incriminating evidence. So not allowed to talk. Thanks for joining, Will. Now, our last story is a big one. It's a big one. And this is a chance for us to really dive deep and talk about some things. It may go long today. I'm just saying it may go long. This one may be long. And this is Ultimate Classic Rocks, which is a great news website, by the way. I check Ultimate Classic Rock. I check Blabbermouth. I check Metal Wani. I check loudersound.com, which is the classic guitar or classic rock magazine, guitar.com, various places I check as my sources as a journalist, right? I check those regularly. Well, this is Ultimate Classic Rock's top 10 classic rock stories of the day. So let's go through there. And I will try not to, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to comment on all of them. Okay. But let's start at number 10. And right off the bat, this is not going to end well. Okay. Their number 10 classic rock story or rock and roll story of the year is the 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Now, there was one cool thing that happened. Jimmy Page got up to perform Link Wray's Rumble with Anton Fig on drums, by the way. That was a cool moment. I don't even remember who the inducted. I know Sheryl Crow got inducted. Nothing against Sheryl Crow. Should she be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before Foreigner, Styx, Boston, Kansas, Bad Company, Sheryl Crow's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before those. I got to move on to number 9. Okay, number 9. The Beatles released their last song ever. Remember that? It was just a month or so ago when they released Now and Then. The song itself is not that great. It's not. I mean, it was a demo that John Lennon had been working on. And in fact, the band worked on it way back in 95 when they were doing the Beatles anthology, and they passed on it. I mean, it wasn't a great song. However, if you see the video that they put together using the technology that they have, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Will chimes in again. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke. Yes, it is. It's a complete joke. This Beatles video, if you have not seen it, you definitely need to check it out because it's pretty cool. I mean, the way they've interwoven footage throughout the band's career, you'll see young Beatles alongside the older, long-haired Beatles that need a bath. And then even those that lived even longer, we see them as older people and all of that stuff. It's a cool video. And I think that is one of the top 10 stories of the year. Number 8, AC/DC returns to live performance. Yes. It was their first time performing in, I don't know, since 2016, 2015, a long time. They were part of the Desert Trip, the Power Trip Festival, which featured AC/DC, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses, Tool, and Judas Priest. And it was their first time in years, and it was a great performance. From all accounts I've heard, they did a great job. So that was the number 8 rock and roll story. The number 7 rock and roll story, the Rolling Stones release a new album. Hackney Diamonds came out in October. I think I mentioned last week, I listened to the whole thing here last week. It's a really good album. I mean, I have not listened to a complete Stones album since Steel Wheels, like in 89. Just nothing grabbed me. But this one is surprisingly good. It's a good album. And it was ranked in one of the lists we talked about last week or the week before, the number 1 rock album of the year. So critics like it too, apparently. But it's a good album. Hackney Diamonds, definitely worth checking out. Coming in at number 6 for the top rock and roll stories of 2023, Elton John and Kiss play their final shows, and the Eagles begin their final trek. So Elton John and Kiss are done, supposedly. They will not do any more shows. They both wrapped up in 2023. The Eagles have begun what they say will be their final tour. And for, $980 a piece, you could go see the Eagles on that last tour. Number 5, Aerosmith halts their farewell tour. There's another farewell tour, but they halted it. So does that mean they will resume it in 2024? I don't know. But the number 5 story is Aerosmith halts their farewell tour after only 3 dates. Fans have been eagerly awaiting Aerosmith's return to the road for some time now, but they only got a little taste of it this year, with the band playing just 3 shows of their Peace Out farewell tour before postponing the rest of it until 2024 on account of Steven Tyler's ongoing health issues. So there's the answer right there. They'll resume in 2024, and this will be their final tour. Number 4, I guess this was cool visually. I don't know. I wasn't there. U2 opens up the Sphere in Las Vegas. Have you seen some of the football games? I watched a Raiders game the other night, and as they show as the blimp is, showing you the whole Las Vegas skyline, you see this sphere and it looks like a big giant glowing marble in the middle. It's pretty cool looking from the outside. It's not every day a music venue opens up, and it's certainly not every day that a state-of-the-art one such as the Sphere in Las Vegas materializes. U2 had the honor of being the very first act to perform in it. That's pretty cool. The number 3 rock and roll story of the year, and this was sad, disappointing. The drama continues for Journey amidst a 50th anniversary tour. So Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain continue to air their dirty laundry for all of us to see in 2023. We don't like that, right? We don't like to see our favorite bands fighting and airing their dirty, back in the good old days before social media, they just thought each other were jerks and they kept it to themselves. They didn't have to share that all. Okay. Will can relate, right? We were in a band that broke up over artistic differences, right? Will, of course, he's not allowed to respond, but there were artistic differences and that happens with bands. It happens with Journey, but just keep your mouth shut. That we don't want to hear about it. Just smile, go play the show so your fans can enjoy it and keep it to yourself. Number 2, the always cheerful Roger Waters faced accusations of anti-Semitism. Again, Roger Waters never one to shy away from controversy. In February, one of Waters' concerts scheduled to take place in Frankfurt, Germany, was canceled by the city council on the grounds of alleged anti-Semitism, describing him as, quote, one of the world's most well-known anti-Semites. The concert was ultimately allowed to proceed, but not long after that, Waters was investigated by German police for wearing a Nazi-like costume during his performance. Now, in his defense, it's part of the show, right? I'm not going to come out and say that he's a Nazi. I don't believe that. We don't do politics, but I think I'm safe to say that Roger Waters is not a Nazi, right? If he was dressed in a Nazi uniform, it was part of the show, I'm guessing. So again, I'm not his publicist. I don't do PR for Roger Waters, but I'm pretty sure he's not a Nazi. I think I'm safe to say that. Their number 1 rock and roll story, this according to Ultimate Classic Rock for the year 2023, was sadly the number of deaths that occurred during 2023. Just to name a few: David Crosby, Jeff Beck. Oh, Jeff Beck, that one hit me hard. Gary Rosington of Lynyrd Skynyrd, Robbie Robertson of the Band, Gordon Lightfoot, Sinead O'Connor, Denny Lane, Jimmy Buffett. Wow, a lot of folks. Shane McGowan, Tom Verlaine, Marshall Tucker. And that's just, there were more. And sadly, I say this all the time, because the focus of this channel, the focus of this update, the focus of the entire classic guitar rock empire is classic rock. By definition, more and more of these classic rock artists will be passing away in coming years. So in 2024, sad to say, we will lose more of these classic rock artists that we like. So our job here is to celebrate this great music, to celebrate the lives of these folks that do pass on. And again, we wish them well as they, whatever you want to say, as they head on, say, move on to a better place. Whatever term you want to use, we wish them well and we thank them for their music. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We thank you for your support. As always, you can follow us on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, and we appreciate all the support. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Thank you. Live long and prosper.